It was a cold September day in Norwich when this game arrived. Then again, it always was cold in this city. It was called Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. It promised tactical espionage, but wouldn't live up to the name. The guy from the docks informed me it was made by a guy called Hideo Kojima, some sort of gaming god, and that he was working with a bunch of people called Konami developing it. The game featured cinematic cutscenes rendered using the in-game engine and graphics, as well as voice acting in numerous codec sequences. It has also sold over 6 million copies and had several spin-offs. It had 2 discs showing it was potentially a long game, so I decided to give it a go. The game plays in the third person, and seems the idea is to make the main character, Solid Snake, get through the area using sneaking techniques, such as hiding behind objects, in boxes, and making distracting noises and actions. Now if you are caught, your handy radar that tells you where the guards are and where they can see disappears, and is replaced by a timer to tell you how long you've got to hide while the enemy tries to find you. The guards seem to be surprisingly smart in this game, and if they can see you but cannot get to you, they will do things like call for help or throw grenades into the place you are hiding. As you're sneaking around, you also gain other helpful items such as the infrared goggles and the famous cardboard box. The game is full of cutscenes and codec calls which flow with the gameplay, making it feel as if it's all one long flowing game. The combat also seems to go with the flowing idea, as you can either fight in the third person or go to a first person view for those accurate shots without feeling that the game has stopped to change for your actions, which always makes it feel better to play. Well, I decided to give the suspects in this case a look over. It seems to be your standard good team versus bad team. The main character in this is Solid Snake, voiced by David Hayter, another gaming god. Solid Snake is a retired soldier of fortune that formerly worked for the elite unit called Foxhound, that has been brought back for one last mission against his old unit to stop them from launching a nuclear missile at the USA. Now he is supported over the codec by a team of people led by his former leader, Colonel Roy Mustang, who gives out mission objectives, assisted by Dr. Naomi Hunter, who deals with the medical side. Mel Ling, who deals with communications and save your games, normally followed by a Chinese proverb to relay the fact that she is a Chinese team member. Nastasha Roklov, a Russian gun expert to really hammer the racism home. And Master Miller, an expert in surviving the harsh environment, the Snake's former drill instructor, to help in dealing with the conditions. Through the game, Snake meets 2 other allies in the guise of Mel Silverberg, Colonel Campbell's niece, and a rookie soldier that was placed on the island when they believed there would be trouble to force the Colonel's help, and Dr. Hal Emmerich, a scientist and the lead developer of Metal Gear Rex, who spends a lot of the game coming to terms with the fact that he built a weapon and trying to fix his mistakes. The villains are run by Snake's former team, the elite unit Foxhound, run by the charismatic Liquid Snake, a blonde man with the same face and abilities of our hero, Solid Snake. The second in charge, Revolver Ocelot, a Russian gunslinger that fights using the skills of the Old West and wields occult single army action. He is also an expert interrogator that is famous for taking pleasure in hurting others. Sniper Wolf, a sniper with the capability of sitting alone for over a week without needing to change, and has a supernatural connection to wolves. Vulcan Raven, the huge Alaskan shaman, armed with an M61 Vulcan, and his spirit animal, the Raven, of which he uses as a scout and intelligence. Psycho Mantis, the psychic profiler, psychokinesis expert and complete madman, driven insane by the voices of the world around him, and is the reason for the cooperation of the soldiers on the island. And last of all, Decoy Octopus, a master of disguise whose disguise is so good he can even copy their blood. There is also the wildcard known as Ninja or Deep Throat, a mysterious cybernetically enhanced soldier, and the original Grey Fox. Frank Jaeger, who is against Foxhound but seems to have more interest in Snake and having one final fight to the death. Also seems to have a connection to one of the team. The story is a long one with lots of twists and turns, starting from a simple rescue mission while gathering intel on the enemy that turns into a whirlwind of revelations and conspiracies, going from the leader of Foxhound being your brother, to the government's plotting involving genetic manipulation, bioweapons, and the return to an age of walking nuclear battle tanks on Cold Wars. To sum up the case, Metal Gear Solid is a strong game with good gameplay and, for the times, stunning visuals. What was also interesting was the fact that it brought up a lot of questions and emotions found in war, such as whether love can bloom in the battlefield, and what it is like to be a real soldier rather than a dog of war. Some of the scenes can even bring a tear to the eye, like the scene where Otacon admits his love for the dying Sniper Wolf, adding, in my opinion, to the whole experience. All in all, a good game, and worth playing. Case closed.